Hi, my name is Laura Lamont. I'm a nutritional therapist and the director here at Zero Noodles. Today I want to show you a recipe which is actually my favourite Zero Noodle recipe, and it is the Zero Noodles in Satay sauce. But before I begin with that, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Zero Noodles and why they're so good as an alternative to pasta for weight loss. Basically, they're extremely low in calories, with only 10 calories per pack, and there's about 200 grams per pack, so you get quite a lot in there. They're also zero fat, zero sugar, whilst being very low in carbohydrate as well. So if you're on a low carb diet, they're actually really good for that as well. The other great thing about Zero Noodles is that they are made predominantly of fibre, which is well known for its properties and the fact that it's the highest water holding capacity of any fibre. So basically that means once you eat it, it swells up in your stomach and makes you feel fuller for longer, which makes it a really good aid for dieting. What's also great about Zero Noodles is the fact that they're low GI. So that's great, if you are on a low GI diet, but it also is very helpful for people suffering from diabetes who need to watch their sugar levels. So these actually help stabilise your blood sugar levels once you've eaten them. Also, they're excellent for people who don't want to eat wheat, who have celiac disease or just a bit intolerant to wheat, because they're completely gluten-free. And they're actually really good as well if you suffer from IBS. Being high fibre, it means that they're quite therapeutic. So enough about Zero Noodles. I'm going to start with my recipe now, which is the Zero Noodles and Satay sauce. So before I begin, I just want to show you how to prepare the noodles. Obviously they come in water, so you want to rinse off the water. So I'll usually open them, put them in the sieve, give them a rinse for a minute or so under hot water. Drain them, and then they're ready to go. If you've tried Zero Noodles before, you might have noticed that they've got a slight, almost like a slight fish odour to them. This odour is basically the natural smell of the cognac, and it can differ in different packets depending on how much water the noodles are contained in and the actual batch of the raw vegetables being used when they're produced. But don't worry, because the smell doesn't actually go through to the food, you can't taste it at all, and this is why we rinse it, basically to get rid of that slight smell if you don't like it. So here's a packet of Zero Noodles that I opened earlier, and I've actually rinsed them already and I've drained them. It's a good idea actually to just squeeze out the excess water, because the drier they are, the better the consistency will be when they're actually cooked. Now, as you can see, they're quite gelatinous in consistency. They've got a bit of a bite to them, almost like an al dente pasta. So, to begin with, I'm going to heat the pan, quite a high heat to begin with, just to get it going. And rather than using oil, I'm going to actually use a bit of water, just to stop it sticking. It is a non-stick pan, but it's best to add a bit of water just to keep it from burning. Now, to begin with, I'm going to start with my vegetables. Now, you can actually use any vegetables that you want for this. I've chosen to use mange tout and some baby sweet corn. So I'm going to start by adding that and cooking that. I'm going to leave that to cook for about 5 minutes until the vegetables are a bit softer. Okay, so the vegetables are nicely cooked now, so I've put it onto a low heat, just to keep them warm. And now I'm going to add a teaspoon of garlic. This is minced garlic from a jar. It's a bit easier than actually crushing your own. So I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of that. One teaspoon of ginger paste. And then I'm going to add my red pepper. and also the spring onion, which I've chopped up quite finely. I'm going to stir that together. It's quite a good idea to add a bit of water at this point, just to loosen it up a bit. I'm just going to leave that to simmer on a low heat for about 2 minutes. Okay, so now that that's cooked together nicely, I'm going to remove it from the heat. So basically you just want to put it aside for the next stage. Okay, so now I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. So I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of peanut butter. So to that I'm also going to add a tablespoon of soy sauce. I'm also going to add about a teaspoon of honey, heaped teaspoon of honey. And then I'm going to add a big squeeze of fresh lime. That just helps to freshen it up a bit and gives it a bit of an acidity. Okay, so on a low heat, I'm just going to try and mix that together as best I can. And basically melt the peanut butter into the soy sauce and the rest of the things we've added. It's actually quite a good idea to add another splash of water. It just helps thin it a little bit if it's a bit thick. Okay, so when that's all nicely melted together, it's time to add your noodles. So mix that in until the noodles are all nicely coated. It's quite a good idea to actually cook the noodles slightly before you begin, because they can sort of clump up when they're a bit long. Okay, so now that they're warmed through nicely, I'm going to add back the vegetables. You can actually turn the heat up slightly at this point. Okay, so when they're all heated through, I'll give them a few minutes. It's ready to serve. And there you have it. Zero noodles in satay sauce. It's delicious.